Can do number 3.
Okay.
What are you talking
Now
about?
let's count to some. Now let's try to come to some agreements regarding the terms. Now, when we talk about genetic engineering, are we talking about the process?
Genetic engineering is...
No, let's try to find
okay.
some, let's say, understanding or agreement on certain terms here. When we talk about human genetic engineering, are we talking about the process? Because there's sort of been a disagreement regarding this matter.
Human genetic engineering involves a process, but in technical terms, human genetic engineering is a branch of genetics.
Okay, so it's a process. Do you agree, Roy?
Yes, yes.
Now, so as a process, now what is now your position? Is it a faulty process, or is it a process that has already come into perfection?
It's a faulty process, and it is
It
used
is
to
still
create
under the process
superhumans,
of
which
being
destroys
perfected.
God's or our human identity.
Thank you, my dear opponent.
Okay.
You have stated that...
Now, Lorvena, what were you
Human
saying?
genetic engineering is still under the process of being perfected.
Exactly the point.
But we can
Okay.
see the progress in these perfections,
Perfection,
in
the
these
point.
perfections, in the progress.
Where do you have to start? With myself, I'm gonna clone 599 of myself, and they all end up in the cemetery, dead. Because what? The process hasn't been finished yet. And like I told you before, if rule 1 hasn't been done, and I proceed
Because
to rule
many
3,
lives are saved because of human genetic engineering,
Tomas.
of gene therapy, which
And why are
involves
you
human
talking
genetic
about
engineering.
clones? We're just talking about reproductive cloning.
It's part
Human
of-
genetic engineering is a very broad term. And there are many processes
not only
involved
cloning.
in
It's
human
not only
genetic
cloning.
engineering.
It's not only cloning.
Exactly.
It can
Then
kill
why are
you.
you just talking about cloning?
Even directly, human genetic engineering can kill me. even
Ian
directly.
Wilmot himself has said, Ian Wilmot, designer of Dolly, said that once you tamper with a gene, you can insert a gene, but you cannot reverse its effects. Meaning, if mutations occur, if unexpected things occur to the gene, to the person, to the thing you are trying to help, as you say, you cannot reverse it. What will happen to those victims of human genetic engineering? You keep talking about benefits, you keep talking about what good it will do to humanity, but you're missing the point.
Okay.
But the benefits outweighs those failures. There are lots of progresses that have been recorded through human genetic engineering and gene therapy. For example, Rice Evans has bubble boy disease and with SCID, which
What is bubble boy disease?
It is a severe combined immunodeficiency disease of the in which a patient does not have a healthy immune system.
Okay.
So through gene therapy, he was cured from this disease. He was liberated from his illness.
So that is
and
one
Phil
evidence.
Fletcher had 2 heart surgery bypass,
Two evidences.
but still he suffered from angina, yet genetic engineering inserted new vessels into him. Thus, reduction of angina was seen in the progress of
I'd
his
like to ask you
situation.
I'd like to ask you one question. You're saying the benefits outweigh the harm? Do you have any statistics to prove that?
Of course we have.
Where is it?
In the United Kingdom, 30,000 people were given the chance to restore their sights.
And did they?
Yes, they did.
So now 30,000 people have manufactured eyesight. I'd rather keep my glasses than manufacture their eyesight.
They aren't manufactured eyesights. Their eyesights were corrected.
Okay. So it comes back to the point that you tampered with the gene.
You don't
It's like
tamper the gene, you
manufacturing.
just alter the gene in order to correct those defective genes.
Again, that's genetic. That is gene therapy, not
therapy
genetic
is-
engineering.
Of
We're
course,
talking about it as
genetic
a
engineering.
whole.
Gene therapy involves genetic engineering because you cannot conduct gene therapy without using human genetic engineering.
Yes, but the point that you cannot, of course, you cannot separate the two. But we're not just talking about human gene therapy. We're talking about genetic engineering. You do not seem to see the point.
So human genetic engineering comprises a lot of things. It involves genetic screening in which
So yet now we have genetic screening.
An embryo can be
Embryos.
prevented from
Embryos.
an embryo can be prevented from developing inherited diseases through genetic screening.
Genetic
because
screening.
at the process of genetic screening, the embryos are screened for inheritable diseases, and through it, they could prevent those diseases from developing and hurting the lives of the child.
That is great, my dear opponent, of course.
Of
but,
course it is
but
great
if it's
because it
screening,
is a
if there's a
promising-
screening, what happens to those who don't pass the screening?
Of course, there's
What
only 2
happens?
options.
There's only 2 options. Either they kill it,
Of course,
They
there
don't give
is
it a chance.
2 options.
Or genetic-
Either
genetic-
they
Okay,
abort
okay,
it,
one at a time.
or
They abort it?
they alter the gene
They
and
abort it.
provide
Okay,
it's
okay,
their
okay.
option. That
I
is
give-
why genetic engineering.
Okay, I give the floor to Tomas. Okay, Tomas.
Do you believe in the moral principle of supreme authorship? Do you? Yes or no?
Reaction?
Can you please explain that?
Supreme authorship means whoever the author is, the sole author of the creation, he has responsibility. He alone can change it. Do you believe in it? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. So, who is the
What's
author
your
of humanity? Who's the author of humanity? God or man?
God.
Okay. So is it moral or immoral to reconstruct the system or genetic makeup of the human person?
I do not think it is immoral
Because
if it is to save
So
lives.
so it's moral?
Yes, it is.
So what happened to the principle of individuality or the uniqueness of every
Just
person?
one gene is altered.
Principle of individuality. It is a universal concept. You cannot change universal concepts. If I was to change universal concepts, it would make me liable to kill you now for whatever purpose possible in order to get anything I want from you. So are you saying that it's moral to change something which God Himself made?
You agree to the principle of supreme authorship, but now you're saying it's moral to reconstruct. But you agree to the fact that God is the author and only He can tamper, quote unquote, with us.
But
now
He
you say
gave
it's
us
moral.
the knowledge so that we can save lives.
He merely
Will we
want
just
God
let
would
others
come
Knowledge.
down
die?
from heaven
Knowledge.
and alter your genes. He would come down from heaven and alter your genes. That is what you want to do. God allowed us to conceive that knowledge in order to save people from
And
the
to kill
diseases.
persons.
What?
And to
Yes,
kill
God.
persons.
So
You kill a person.
You're
and say the life of a
saying
person?
that-
You said that was knowledge, and knowledge used is not even perfected yet. And
Besides-
many people have died with it.
We're not talking about
Then
God
that
altering
means
genes.
that the
In
fault
fact,
is
we're
not
talking
on the
about the
process.
natural selection of people. Who alters the genes? It's man. How can God alter the genes?
He doesn't even
He's
need to
the
alter
author.
that. He can make another one of you and erase him in the process.
and that means you just let other people die? Children